Okay, welcome back to the Adventure Within channel. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm a clairvoyant, healer, and meditation teacher. And in this video, I'd like to talk about how a soul goes about setting up a lifetime. And I'll kick that off with this notion that you actually choose your parents. And, some of you might already know that, and some of this might be, for other people, it might be news to them. And yeah, for better or worse, we choose our parents. And again, some of you might be going, "Oh, I'm kind of glad I did. That's great." And some of you might be going, kind of scratching your head and going, why? Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, we do choose our parents, and some of the factors that come into play might be, oh, do you have any karma with them that you'd like to work through? That might be a thing. And yeah, we choose our parents. The main thing about that is really about the mother, because that's who you're being born through. But you're looking at, oh, is there any karma? Do you have any agreements? Any, spiritual contracts? Where are your parents to be located on the planet? What part of the world? That's a huge thing, right? Um, and then also genetics. How is the genetics with your, you know, mother to be and father to be? How's that going to impact your physical body? And is that going to, work with what you're really looking to have and experience? Um, think of it from this perspective. If you have a mock-up, a desire to be a professional athlete, that wants to, be in the NHL or the NBA, the NFL, or maybe you want to go to the Olympics, things like that. You're definitely probably looking at, okay, if I choose these parents, how is this going to impact my body, and is that going to be, the right genetics to really have the body you're needing? To compete at a high level, that would definitely be something that a soul would look into if that's kind of their desire. So these are just a few factors. It's not all of them, but those are the few that I would like to highlight. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to share my pre-birth experience. And the way I became aware of that was, I started learning to meditate in my early 20s and turned on my different psychic abilities, primarily focusing on my clairvoyance. And with your clairvoyance, you can look at the energy of anything. Everything is energy. You can look at it. So that's how I did it. I looked at, you start to get interested in these kind of big spiritual questions and topics. And so I started to look at that. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to share that. And so when I start describing this, that doesn't mean that this is precisely how it looks and was for others. I'm just sharing my personal experience. Um, okay, so to paint a picture for me it was like being in a again, this is me in between lifetimes. This is pre-birth for this lifetime, having this body. Um, so it's like being in a small room. That's I was in a small room, simple rectangular looking type room, and in the center of it is an island, just like you'd find an island in a kitchen. And on one wall, there is kind of a window, and through that window, you can kind of see darkness, and it looks like outer space, and off in the distance, looking at the planet Earth. And it was in this small room that I was able to start looking at options in regards to choosing my parents. And I kind of had it narrowed down between two sets of parents. Obviously, the parents that I chose, and then the other parents that I did not choose. And the other set that I didn't choose, I knew that because you can kind of take a look at not only them, but if you chose them, how would that life kind of generally pan out? And you can kind of look at that. And the big thing with the parents that I didn't choose was that they were rich, they're wealthy. And so you might be going, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. Why you just automatically choose that? And well, I did not choose that. So my family kind of more, middle class, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you might be going, well, why did you do that? It seems like everybody that has the opportunity to kind of choose from, say, like a middle class family to a rich or wealthy family, you just go boom, right to the wealthy family. There's really not much to think about there, meditate on. And, looking at why I chose, my parents in regards to that is that, yeah, I'd experience more effort, but then when I'd actually have success, I'd be I'd be truly grateful for having that success. What was on the other side of that effort, once I experienced that success and all that, really feeling and having that sense of gratitude. And I think from looking at it in that way, that's why one of the big reasons I chose that. And that makes a lot of sense, when we when we have to kind of go through, certain adversities and overcome certain obstacles in life, when we get to the other side of that, and we make it through, we see the light at the end of the tunnel and make it through. Yeah, we are like, wow, we're really appreciative and really grateful, because you kind of experience kind of, one side of things, and then now you're on the other side of that. And yeah, definitely a sense of gratitude. So that's one big reason why I chose my family or my parents as opposed to being born into a wealthy family. And then to kind of go a little deeper, I chose my father because I knew the programming that I would get as a result of him being my father. And what do I mean by programming? This is just energy and information and pictures, just kind of how to survive and kind of make it in this world, to give you kind of a general idea of that. And I knew with that particular programming I would receive from him, I would resist it. I would definitely fight it or go against it, and I'd really struggle with it. But, when I kind of break free of that, I knew that once I break free of that, I would have a great sense of purpose and freedom and joy. And again, that kind of is similar to, what I mentioned earlier about not choosing the wealthy family and choosing the parents that I, went with, that, yeah, I would experience that sense of effort, but once I had success, I'd be really grateful. So that really ties into, choosing my father. My mother, I definitely had karma with and multiple past lives with. And I knew that when I was choosing her, that she would definitely kind of invade my space energetically. We have this aura, this energy field around our body, and there might be times where you feel like you have a sense of space, and other times it feels kind of claustrophobic, really cramped, and I don't really have much space. And so I knew kind of choosing her, she would definitely invade my space. And later on, I'd work on clearing her energy out, and so that I have a sense of really my own space and what that's like. So you can kind of see, oh, okay, you maybe start off in a certain way, oh, okay, for me personally, oh, there's a lot of effort or, maybe struggle or resistance and, not much space. And then working, to the other end of that and having that experience. And again, you having the gratitude of once I have those things. But it is a journey. There's things to overcome and lessons to be learned throughout that process, and that's valuable from a soul perspective. Um, the more experiences can have, or I'm going to really learn from, then I'm gaining wisdom. That's the big thing. Another reason I chose my family was because of nature. I was born on the East Coast, and we grew up kind of a quarter mile back in the woods. Um, and so just being able to, a lot of my childhood, I'm very fond of some of my childhood memories where, just riding my bike or being outside and playing in the lawn and, playing with the leaves and going for walks or being out in the woods and going ice skating on the creek behind my house. Like, so that's very fond of that. I wasn't necessarily didn't care too much or wasn't really fond of, and I knew this prior, that I wouldn't really be fond of necessarily the town I grew up in or even just being on the East Coast. A lot of my early life, I always kind of knew I wanted to leave, and I was always drawn towards going west. I didn't really know why. I know why now because I've got to live in an RV full time and got to travel out there and spend time, um, different national parks in Utah and Arizona. So I got to find out why for sure. Another thing to look at would be, why did you choose your gender? And so I obviously have a male body. I chose a male body. And when I started to take a look at that, I went, oh, okay. I kind of knew that at a certain point early on in my life, my masculine energy was definitely turned on. I definitely had a sense of confidence, and especially confidence in my ability to communicate and express myself. And I knew that that would at some point early on get shut down, that I would kind of lose my voice. I would lose that sense of confidence that I had early on, that even it would go as far as, because of that, end up having digestive issues, and that I would experience this sense of shyness and kind of just not having a lot of confidence in general, but also just especially being in front of groups and having to talk in front of groups. That became much more difficult over time. And then, you know, going on further, again, you can kind of notice the theme here of where something happens, it starts out a certain way, and then it goes in a different direction, the opposite direction. And so over time, kind of being able to turn on and really re-own my masculine energy and get that sense of confidence back, and then also getting my voice back, and just the certainty in having my voice. And then another big topic that goes right along with this all would be your purpose for this lifetime. That's something that, when you're in between lifetimes, you're choosing your parents, you might be recruiting spirit guides to help you when you finally incarnate. Um, you're choosing your gender and all that. A lot of decisions being made, and what's the original intention behind this incarnation? That's the big one, right? And for me in this lifetime, one big part of it is finally getting to a point of writing a book, and it might be more than one, but definitely at least one. And more than likely, probably going to be spiritual and probably about my journey as a soul. Something I'm very interested in exploring myself and sharing with others. And so that would be pretty fun. And just being able to do, public talks about the book, and do presentations and things like that in relation to the book. Definitely here to entertain in different ways and to be a father. And those are just a few examples of kind of what I'm here to do in this lifetime. But in regards to a higher level purpose, really what I'm here to do is to fully know who I am as spirit, to know source or great spirit, and to know, where's my true home? Where did I originate, or where did I come from? And, I know that every new experience that I have and I learn and grow from and evolve from, I'm gaining wisdom, and I'm contributing to that higher level purpose. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it and go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.